The small town girl moves to the big city, but goes back home and falls in love with the cowboy dude. Like, man, Hallmark has made a fucking
That
killing
really
of
like
that.
a Hallmark movie. Oh yeah, we gotta talk about that for sure.
I'll show you how it's done. Shazam!
Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to Underdeveloped Hair, and today we have another movie review for you guys. Even though we're doing this all the time, but for the movie Twisters.
Yep, the sequel to Twister, singular.
Yep,
Like Alien and Aliens, but of tornadoes.
But kind of a standalone sequel because there's no real traces of like.
Nah, this isn't like all the other sequels to to crazy old movies where they bring back the original cast and they all do stuff. No, you're not gonna really find anyone from the original cast here.
This movie's okay. It's better than
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be. I had really low expectations for this movie, so
Oh, same.
Is
I
that
thought
be-
it was gonna be trash.
it's definitely better than the low expectations I had for this movie.
Same.
I
I would
like
say
it.
this is okay.
I like it better than Hitman movie that he was in.
Oh yeah.
But Hitman movie was the more unique, but I just hate ending so much. I couldn't fuck with it at all.
Same.
But like, if they changed maybe one or two incremental things in that movie, it would have been a much better movie.
Oh, definitely.
But because of that, I hate that movie. That may go my top 10 worst just for that.
Same.
Out of spite.
I really don't. I really fucked up. I really don't fuck with the ending.
At all. I fuck with no repercussions at all.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, whatever.
You know, I mean, admittedly, I don't really care much for the ending of this movie either, but at least here it makes sense with the story that they were telling.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's automatically better than the ending of
Automatically
Hitman.
better. And this Gamma Promise. I mean, you open up killing a lot of characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like super. It was like super atmospheric, and
Yeah.
everyone was like being picked off. It's like really intense. I'm like,
Yeah,
holy
the
shit!
exact word. The thing was actually scary. It actually made me get into the whole blockbuster effect aspect of it.
Yeah.
It looks real. The way it's the destruction, destroying buildings. You know, sucking people up. Like it's like it was really like it really was scary. You know what I'm saying? They made it feel scary. You know, and then you have a bunch of charming actors like, of course, Glenn Powell. This was really the same as the charming actor. But then what really was interesting, like all these, it was really storm centric. Like the first Twister was, you know, what I mean, it was about the storm, but it was really about the romance and all that.
Yeah,
And like the people dealing with the storm is really about the people and the relationships rather than really the storm. The storm is just like something that's happening. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like the thing that's getting in their way.
yeah. Well, here the storm is more tied directly into all the relationships
it's
here
about
because
the storm.
yeah, because it fuels Kate's PTSD.
Yeah.
It causes it. Like her friend and love interest are both like guys who are really into storms. Like they're
Yeah.
like it's all relevant to everything that's going on.
Everyone
in the
chasing
movie.
a storm, but for different reasons. One is dealing with past trauma. Other one is you know, trying to make a difference, but he doesn't know what he's fighting for. Other people it's for profit. Other people it's for showboating.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it was like that. I thought that aspect of it was very interesting because the thing in Twister, the first one is the tornado was getting in. The tomato was disrupting their lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was kind of a wrench in their lives instead of like the actual focus. Like here, it lives up to the name. It's about the fucking Twisters.
yeah. Like here we have this one focused story, while in the original Twister we just had like two separate stories that kind of intersected at points.
But once you get to that midpoint, once you get past that lock-in, it's pretty standard and boring from there and predictable.
Like-
Nothing really exciting about it.
No, like I feel like the relationship between Glenn Powell and and Daisy Edgar Jones, it's just so like they're both good actors, but their relationship is just so boring. It's-
Uninteresting. Nothing unique.
No,
Like
because
yeah, go ahead.
it's literally the story of like half the Hallmark movie catalog. It's
Yeah.
small town girl moves to the big city and comes back home to fall in love with a roguish, charming cowboy dude. Realize how much better her life is with him.
All she needed was everything that was here already.
Yeah.
You know?
Like every Christmas has a story, which we watched this
Yeah.
Christmas and we hated it.
Yeah.
It was trash.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
exact same story.
Essentially, it's the same exact plot structure. Essentially, it's the same plot beats.
Yeah, and I just could even does the super cliche getting the girl before she leaves at the airport
Yeah.
gag. I'm
Yeah,
like, come
my
on,
God,
man.
bro.
That has been done to death. It was old when Ross and Rachel did in 2004, man. That was 20 years ago, and it was old then.
At least they made it unique though, because she actually got on the plane.
Yeah, that was. At least there they did a little something with it
And he had
to,
that funny-ass
tease
scene.
expectations.
He had a funny ass scene by that actor. He was like, my God, the plane is having phalange. Like, that was really funny. Like, that.
Yeah.
It was like, he's like, her friend has a feeling that something's wrong with the left phalange. What phalange? Oh my God, this plane is having phalange. Like, I was that
There's
made
something wrong with the left phalange.
He like, what? What did your friend? Your friend has a feeling. Because eventually that's low key kind of real. Like, it's an irrational fears. Because
Yeah.
he's already obviously a fearful person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
So
this-
he's like,
but
so
this how-
this the superstition out there is like, nah, son.
And then
Like,
just
nah,
how
son.
extreme it gets with it. It's just so absurd
Yeah.
it makes you laugh.
Exactly, it's absurd, but it's a slightly it's powered by reality though, because that's some real fears. Because falling out of a plane is like a real fucking fear.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's your dad one time. So it's like that paranoia is real. So just even superstition, you know what I mean, about it could freak someone out that's really scared of planes.
Yeah.
You know?
Like good comedy is the exaggeration of reality.
Exactly, and I think hit it perfectly.
But this movie, on the other hand, just doesn't do it that way.
No.
It's so like predictable, paint by numbers. He was about to get on the plane, but then the plane gets like delayed.
Yeah,
and then
it's
just
very
And then
standard.
they just kind of look at each other and they smile, and then boom, that's a fuck it.
It's very fucking standard, very boring. The
It
first,
is.
at least I like the first Twister better because the relationship was very unique. It begins with like a divorced couple, like a couple that's pretty much a separated couple, and the male character, he wants to divorce the female character, which is actually the main character. She's the stud hero that's detached. Mm-hmm. It's usually the man that's the one that's detached and the stud, you know.
Yeah.
So that's already a unique thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then what all he wants to do is just have her sign the divorce papers so he can go and marry this other chick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in the midst of this, her chasing the storm is bringing up all her past trauma, dealing with like because her father got killed by a storm. So that explains her obsession, and obsession yet again is ripping it apart again, and is ripping out ripping out, bringing up old wounds. Mm-hmm. And then a wife that he's with right now is he's realizing that I will never be able to compete.
Yeah.
Like, that's good drama. That's interesting. I like that a lot better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Storm it plays a different aspect, but Storm is there to highlight the human drama, while this takes the human drama takes a backseat here, and it's really about the storm. You know, these characters have dramatic things going on in their lives.
Yeah.
It's pretty much.
You could have explored the human drama a
Torfoon.
lot better here.
Yeah, it's pretty much torfooned by the storm. It's really all about the storm, which is the strength, but also weakness at the same time.
Yeah, it's it's a very different feeling, which has benefits and detriments to
Yeah.
it.
If you combine the first film and this film together, you can make a pretty damn good movie.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, they already share quite a few plot elements already, so you absolutely
especially
could.
with the main character. Yeah,
Yeah, like the main character here is very similar to Helen
had a
Hunt,
similar
yeah.
plan, similar motivations, lost people, but it is handled differently. She's running away from the storm, while she became Batman. And tornadoes are crime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my family were taken by the storm, so now I'm becoming an obsessive fucking maniac.
I'll be
and
the storm killer.
Exactly, and I'm gonna find my way to destroy the storm and you know what I mean, like and protect more people. You know, so it's like it actually had different ways of handling it.
Yeah.
Which I prefer the more obsessive path, but I know, but the PTSD path is very real.
It is very real, and it could be told very interestingly,
Yeah.
but they didn't really
Wasn't.
go far enough with it. Like, for example, Godzilla Minus One is a good example of a movie that explores PTSD very strongly and ties it very heavily with Godzilla, and they really should have leaned more into that in this movie doing that, but of course, instead of Godzilla, the Twister is the manifestation of the PTSD that keeps ruining the main character's life.
Yeah, yeah. Which I like that too, but it's just to me, it's like you have to add that extra element to make it interesting. Mm-hmm. You gotta make it tie in more to really make it pop.
Yeah, because they don't tie it enough. That's what I'm saying. They don't tie it enough in this one.
They have a lot of good ideas, but they just focus on the outer shell,
Yeah.
and the marketability, and just the action of it all. And the
Yeah.
whole problem why movies suck because nowadays that's what they're doing. They like the 2010s was cool for that. We're kind of above that now. We kind of like deeper stories now.
Mm-hmm.
So everything you want, even though it's a marketable product, you want to give some kind of layer. You want to add more layers to it.
Yeah, we don't really want basic stories anymore. At least not
Yeah.
most of us.
That's
We're
not
kind of tired
99,000.
of it.
We over the blockbuster
Yeah,
thing.
like we grew up with the blockbusters.
Yeah.
We've seen them all. We're used to it. So we need something different, something to shake us to our core and make us like really think about what we're watching. Like here, it's like okay, this is like. If you want like a turn your brain off popcorn movie, I guess this will work, but that's not enough for a lot of people nowadays. I feel like that's something that's only going to keep growing and growing as those popcorn movies are just doing less and less for us.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly how I feel. And that's another topic of a podcast that we're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. It all contributes to the decline of cinema.
Yeah.
Like there's bright spots here and there, but overall, like the cornerstone, like the golden nuggets of cinema. You know what I mean? Like the thing that we
Yeah, like Hollywood is
that
just
coup de grace. Hollywood itself is kind of just in the shitters.
yeah,
Like the indie era is the one that's really starting to pop now.
it is.
But
like,
they don't make
those are the
enough
best
money to
movies.
really cover the bottom line too much. That's the
No.
problem. We need the $120 million movies. We need more Dunes. We need more Barbies. We need more.
Oppenheimer.
We need more Oppenheimers. We need more
We
Across
need
the Spider
big,
Verse.
yeah, we need big successes that justify
Yeah.
not
You know-
only the movie itself cost, but to help fund even other movies
A
too.
big part of those movies is that it's good, genuinely
Yes.
good. On top of having all the other elements, the groundbreaking effects, cinematography, shots, all that stuff.
Yeah. On
Layered
top of-
stories.
But yeah, on top of all that stuff, there's good stories underneath, and that's not something we get enough in these
It's
big
not just
Hollywood
soulless
movies.
blockbuster trash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Marvel's content putting up soulless blockbuster stuff.
But they do hit you with some good stuff too. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of this stuff are kind of like churning out a machine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like formulaic a
It's
little
like
bit.
for
you know?
every good Marvel product we get like a bunch of their just kind of mess,
But the thing
soulless
is,
corporate
they
stuff.
pretty much invented that lane though. They
Yeah.
pretty much popularized and essentially invented infusing comedy and serious stuff to that degree.
Yeah, they really took the ball and ran with it
They
way too
really
far.
could, because as the industry, as the MCU progressed, it got more and more comedic.
It did.
You know what I mean? Because they tried it out with the Avengers,
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of ran with it. So these are like some actual serious stuff happening that affects the world
And
and,
then they-
affects the plots.
And then they tell a joke, it kills the tension immediately.
Exactly, and people really get tension cutting, and that became a huge thing.
Yeah.
that impacted cinema. But now people are killing it to the fucking ground. Just like when Batman came out with its Dark Knight came out with this serious storytelling, people took it around with that and made
They
things
did.
super fucking serious
That's
and dark.
That's exactly what happens anytime in any industry or field. When something gets big and popular, you'll have endless imitators that come in and totally ruin whatever good you saw in the first thing in the first place.
Yep.
It happens all the time, whether it's video games, movies, shows, whatever. It's a common aspect of life that copycats will be made, and they will almost always be worse than before. Than the last.
It's like any business. When a product is hot, they create a bootleg version of it
Exactly.
and mass market and try to sell as much as they can.
Yeah, like fucking.
To essentially lowering the quality of the product.
Yeah.
And now the product don't gives a shit no more.
Oh, definitely. Like that's exactly what we're even seeing that now in a lot of tech, like Apple and PC or Apple and iOS and Apple and Android even.
Yeah.
They're always ripping each other off. They're always doing shit, and like nothing's unique anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with movies. When you keep releasing lower quality versions of the same thing at mass quantities, it's going to devalue the original product. The product becomes less valuable
Yeah,
and becomes a shell of what it once was, thus devaluing that product.
yeah. Because all these upper corporate structures, they don't understand what made the first thing great in the first place.
Exactly.
They just see, hey, people respond to this, this, and this.
People
so
like
we must need
limitedness.
more of this, this, and this.
People like limitedness. Think less quantity, more quality.
Yeah.
That's the problem here. Not 1,000 things, the same thing. No.
Yeah.
Different things. Less is best, dude.
Anyways, I think that's all I have to say about this one, folks. Please make sure you hit that like, subscribe button, and we'll see you next time for some more content.
Yes, sir.